Hello, welcome. I am DigiDM and I'm going to go through my animation workflow. I have a module called 3D-Animations that works with 3D-Canvas. And just to show you what that module looks like, we can take a creature from my module compendium and just pop it in there. And there's a spider. It's probably a small spider, but you could see some animations there. If we got a little bit more larger, we can see a T-Rex there. Recently added was the Hydra, and all of these animations come, all of these models come with various animations. So for the Hydra, for example, the animation index refers to how many heads he's got left. It's pretty handy if you're running a campaign and trying to keep track. You can just right click and change how many heads he's got. The other ones often have something connected to their attacks. So, for example, if I pull up the T-Rex here, and oops, if I use his attack action, it's not going well. Okay, I don't have my normal modules to do this. So if he goes to bite, we'll see that bite action. If he went to use his tail, we see him whip his tail. So check out the compendium on 3D Animations. It's on Patreon. But today we're going to talk about my workflow. So I'm going to focus on the Minotaur today. I don't have him yet. He's in the SRD, and it's really not this model. So I'm going to double right click, pop in, hit Control click, and find the model that I want to move. Now when I'm looking for a model, I am looking for a few things. There's one that I already picked out for this guy, which it's not giving me, but it will eventually. A few things that I'm looking for is one, I mean this one's pretty good because it's almost a standard human model, but you can see one thing that will be a bit of a pain is how the tail and the hoof is connected there. So I'd have to disconnect that in Blender in order to get what I want. So there's this one is the one I'm going to work with. So he's got the battle axe. I often check their stats. So he's got the great axe, he's got a gore, and there's a type of charge behavior. So this is the one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this path to the model, and we'll hop over to Blender. I've got my Blender set up with NLA track, the action editor, and the timeline. But first we're going to import our GLB model. I'm going to go into my data section and find that white Minotaur. Looks like there's a couple of varieties, so we'll stick with the white one, but it looks like I'll be able to grab the brown one and have an alternative. So here's our Minotaur. It's looking pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and click him. I see there's a couple different pieces. His axe is separate. That's all fine and good. I could keep things separate. For example, if he had different weapons, having the weapons separated is real nice for multiple different weapons. But for this guy, he's sticking with the great axe. So I think what I'm going to do, if I check out, he's got leather low. I don't even know what that is. I don't see it highlighted. Oh, these are all still nodes. So he's got this, this, and this. So 3 pieces. And if I hit Alt P, clear parent, keep transform on all of them. I'm just going to get rid of that root node and all of these nodes. They just, you know, clog things up for me. I could stick these all in this collection here just to keep it organized. And since You know, I'm going to keep the axe separated, but the rest of this can just merge with the body. So Control J to join those, and then I'm going to tab into edit mode and do a merge by distance. We see 421 vertices removed. I'm going to do the same thing for the axe. Mesh merge by distance, and we remove 74. Okay. So far, so good. Our mesh is ready. We need some bones for this guy, and then we'll get to animating. So I'm going to hit Shift A, find armature, and use a human armature. Looks like this might have changed since 4.4, which is the version I'm using, because I had a simple one, and maybe it's a Rigify edition. So let's see if I can find that simple armature. Rigify meta rigs. Oh, here's basic. So this is the basic human I usually use. So I'm hitting S to scale it up. I'll move it forward for a second so you can see it. But really, we need to see it through the mesh. So I'm going to go into our viewport display and click in front. And that's going to pop it out in front. Now, I'm going to hit Shift Space to pop into a full screen mode here. And then basically, I'm going to take all these bones and match them to my Minotaur here. So I'm going to scale it up a little bit more. I could do this in pose mode or edit mode. And if I click this, it will move the other side. So it looks like he's a bit squat in the torso. So if I kind of take all of this and size it down, I don't know if I want to size it down, maybe just the vertical components, sizing it down. I want to make sure I'm not grabbing these little nodes. Okay, let's just size this down, move it down a bit. And I don't really have a great method for this. I mean, just kind of trying to place things where they belong. And I like to keep the mirror on, at least while I'm sizing things. I don't want one arm to be bigger than the other if I can help it. So, and I will often enter pose mode because I find it can be a little bit easier. For example, it looks like his torso is straight on, but his hips might be twisted a little, and that might be easier to do in edit mode as well. If I take all of this and just twist it slightly. Let me take off the X, see what that does. Yeah, it's kind of what I want. And then I don't even use these control bones. So if we come over here, I think the size is pretty good. Let me actually get into pose mode. We'll put this up, we'll put this back, and then we can see how it's just about finagling the bones to be where they need to be. So we're going to have to do some sizing here if I'm going to keep these. So one thing you could do, if you notice this, it kind of drops the pose. So if I go back into pose mode, hit A, and pose and apply as rest pose, then when I hit edit, it won't reset on me. So I'm going to size the hoof part up. Oops, you know what? I wanted to do that on mirror, so that way it sizes the other one. Just so everything's even. And I'm not a Blender pro, so if you're like, wow, that's really inefficient, let me know. I would love to be more efficient in this process. So all I'm doing is using the grab, rotate, G and R, S if I'm sizing things in order to get that in place. Now I'm going to have to click on the X here to move these, and you know what, I'm going to get out of this and go into pose because I think that that's easier for me. It grabs all the bones as I need them to be grabbed. Oops. You know what, that did not go the way I wanted, so if I just Control Z, and then we can see that this leg, oh, I didn't size this one up. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because clearly this one didn't get sized up, but it does make it easier if they're all sort of sized together. But I can live with it because it tends to be pretty forgiving once I do the automatic weights. Especially because these are relative, these aren't necessarily for some big popular video game, you know, company kind of thing. This is a module for a very select few people who use 3DCanvas. I'm going to go ahead and apply as rest pose once again. We see we kind of got our legs shaping up. So this is going to have to be moved because that's not where his nipple is. This one will be moved down a little bit. These I want to size up, so if I take these, size them with that mirror on. In fact, I could probably do all the arms and move them out, because he's going to have some big arms. Let me get back into pose mode. One thing I often forget to do is adjust the top half, because he's bent over quite a bit, and at a certain point, probably this bone here, you're gonna move the whole thing. So I'm gonna size these back up, and it's gonna affect my arms and everything, but here it's gonna help me figure out where things go. These can go back, G, Y, and we see his arms are definitely bigger than they need to be. So I'm going to grab those, make sure my X is checked, and start to pose the arms a bit. Looks like these got caught up in the movement, so I'll size those. Is that what S does? Let's see if I can. I'm going to size them down, but then this one here, this one here, and again, I'm probably not very efficient with this stuff, but this isn't for a portfolio. This is just an amateur trying to figure things out. Okay, I'm gonna start working on his arms here. So this one I feel like needs to be, they both need to be rotated in such a way, like that. Let's size that there. Let's actually keep the X on here since I haven't done the other arm yet. This one can move, just grabbing. This one can go like this. Looks like I might need to size that up a little more to make this make sense. And then we've got the fist there, which is fine. I'm not going to mess with the fingers or anything on that side. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of that mirror. Check out this side, because he is got his arm extended and a bit out. So that's going to be helpful. And it looks like if I put this up like that, I might have to make this a little bigger to match that arm. Move everything up. Check out each angle, each side. It looks like if that was a little bigger, that matches elbow more. Or if I move this down more, that would match his elbow as well. Okay, I'm going to take this and rotate it. Ideally, this is sort of right at the haft of the weapon. Okay, he's got a tail. And is it attached? Oh, it might be. Let's get out of this. Actually, let's make sure we apply our rest pose and then check out this mesh and see if we can separate it. I'm gonna see if I can. I think it might be set. Oh, look at that. I didn't even have to cut it. Just grabbing a few faces. So it is not actually touching. Okay. Now we need to add bones for the tail, and we need to make sure his head, we could definitely add to the mouth. So I often do this. Let's see if we can adjust his torso a little bit. This, oh, I don't want to move everything, but he is a bit, see, I should have done this sooner, but that's okay. We will just have to make do with a turning of the head. This one can get bigger, this one can get smaller. And then what we can do here, after I apply, we can take this E to extend, make an upper mouth bit, and then same for the lower mouth. And this way we can get him to talk and growl and move around and all kinds of stuff. Kind of want this to be more vertical. I think that'll work just fine. And let's add the tail since we're already in edit mode here. We'll find a reasonable spot. Probably that tailbone would be better, but it doesn't matter. Probably not going to animate that particular bone. And we'll start to go down. Just hitting E to extend, and then rotating around and adjusting. So just a little bit of amount, enough to animate it. Again, this is not a thorough, in-depth course or anything. Just me playing around. This one I'd like to actually move closer to his leg. I still have the... I'm going to move this rotating and up. So that way it's a little bit more... You can see he's got really powerful legs, so I might have to rotate that way. Kind of want it in the middle of his leg, ideally. This one looks like it's a little off as well. Okay. So, looks like that will be just fine. I'm going to hit Control Space to get back into my tools here. And one thing I like to do, let's first get out of edit mode. Out of pose mode into object mode, and we see the scales all wonky. I'm going to hit Control A and just apply all transforms. So that way that's one. We see that's one. This is one. All the scale is the same. And I think I'm ready to attach this guy. So if I click the mesh, shift click the bones, Control P, and this is where I might get errors, but hopefully not. Let's see. no errors. That means this thing is rigged. Now if I click on my bones, Control Tab to go into edit, this should move his arm. Look at that. This should move his mouth. Da 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 da. We should be able to move his neck and look around. You know, all kinds of stuff. So you're gonna see some artifacts move, and that's totally fine by me. I'm not trying to make anything super fancy, right? I'm just creating characters for 3DCanvas. So now that that's happened, if you noticed, I'd like this to attach to his bone structure. So I'm going to take this and shift click, Control Tab, shift click this bone, then Control P, and just attach it to the bone. Now that should, look at that. Now every time I move this thing, now I notice one thing I don't like. If I get out of this, this origin point is at the world center, so I don't like that. I'm actually going to Alt P and reverse what I just did. Clear parent, keep transformation, set origin to geometry, and then I'm going to do it again. Shift click the bones, shift tab my bones. I got that bone selected. I'm going to hit Control P and attach it to the bone, and then that should work. So anytime I move that, that axe will be attached. Okay, he is ready for animation. Fantastic. Let's do it. First thing I like to do, if I select all my bones, Shift Tab, and am in pose mode, we're just gonna, I like the easiest thing to do really. I go into 0, and if you hit this record button, auto keying, or you hit I, either way, and we start with this base pose. I like to Shift D to grab everything, duplicate it, and 96 is 4 seconds. That's my sort of default. For idles, sometimes I double that, but for this we'll just do 4 seconds. I only have one thing I'm animating here, but 4.4 Blender definitely added this merge animation feature, which is real nice. Don't need it now though, and since 3DCanvas uses animation indexes, it starts with 0, so I just use that as well, so we all know what animation index we're using, and that's helpful for coding and whatever. So 0, static, that's my default. I'm going to go ahead and push that down, and we have our first animation, which isn't an animation, that's just static. So if someone pulls them out and they want them to be not moving, you got that static pose. I'm going to hit I again. I'm going to pop over to 96 and hit I. He's going to start and end on the same thing, but this one we're going to call idle. Now what do I want him to do for idle? I think I want him, you know what we need to do before we get too far into this is see if my weight painting messed with his tail here. I want to be able to basically move this. Oh, and it doesn't move anything at all. That is amazing. Oh, his like little thing moves. That's okay. I guess I could get rid of that since his tail will probably not move his whole belt. So, mesh, shift click, bones, object. Oops, that didn't do it. Bones, shift click, mesh. Weight paint, there we go. And this is the one I want to adjust. So, I'll go into the front faces are not on, and we're going to go into projected here, and we're just going to get rid of this weight paint on this belt, because I don't want the belt to move when his tail moves. That's all. That part of the tail can move, but let's leave all of this cloth part alone. That's great. Okay. I can check other bones here. I mean, this stuff kind of moves the cloth, which makes sense. I can maybe get rid of, oops, I didn't want to go that far, but get rid of some of this belt movement. Because it's a separate item, it kind of confuses it. I'm just control painting to get the zero paint going. But it can move a few of those cloths, and same thing here. I'll just get rid of a bunch of this stuff up here. Have a slight impact on other pieces, just not all the way up there. Okay. Might as well check out some other things. Okay, this is a problem when these bones aren't impacting everything. So let me reduce this, get the radius up a little, just paint that whole torso a little bit. Same thing here. When he moves his torso, it should pretty much impact this whole area. This one should get his shoulder, not his chin. Oops. Oh, weight painting. Okay. Making sure his mouth, oh, see this one, that's gonna be a problem if it starts moving his shoulder piece here. It can move his ears a little bit, I think. That might be fine. Oh, we'll find out. Jaw. See, I want his jaw to be able to move without his horns being affected at all. So this upper jaw, his horn should not move with that jaw movement. However, when his head moves, yeah, that's all gonna move. Okay. Same thing here, his neck. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. We can check these, making sure that some weird artifacts aren't being lit up. This can be a little bit less. I think actually the shoulder blade here would be more. Wow, that's a lot in the back. Okay, what about this? Let's lower it, just paint that. I think that shoulder guard is going to be some challenges. See, notice this. Let's get some of this going for that. And I forgot I had that projection on, so it's just painting all the way through. Kind of hard to do that. Oops. Often I just think it's easier to not mess with this stuff at all, or hand paint everything. But let's just turn on front faces only and get rid of that projected and see if we can paint some of these for when the torso moves. Okay, maybe. Get rid of some of this paint. Okay. We'll see. I think, yeah, that's gonna be, there's no reason this stuff, let me get back to my fall off. Get rid of all of that on that side. There we go. This side, it's fine. Should actually be probably painted a little bit. Okay. So I can mess around with weight painting all day long. But it's not my favorite. Alright, let's get out of here. Now, where were we? Idle. Let's get back to our bones. Shift tab. Idle animation. I want you to just simply look around. Maybe we'll do 2 idles, I don't know. But often I just sort of do this little rotating thing. So he'll rotate this way, maybe move his head a little more on a z-axis and back. Oh, maybe this bone. Actually, I might be okay with that. Maybe we swish his tail a bit. Yeah. And then we can just highlight all these, hide them, and hit our animation and see what happens. Pretty simple animation. Let's call that good, and we'll just make an idle too. So let me just Alt-H, unhide those, put those down. We're going to hit I, Shift-D, bring it over here. Let's make an idle 2, 2 idles. So this time, I'm going to pop over to number 24, and he is going to raise up his arms and maybe arch his back, like a bit of an intimidation thing. Still good with his tail kind of swishing out, maybe less dramatically, maybe more out because he's sort of doing that thing. And then what we can do, Shift-D this over to 72, which is another point, which actually that's interesting. It should not have done that. Let's try that again. Delete keys. Let's just take everything from this one. Shift-D 72. So we see that line, which means we know nothing's changing. Okay, so then I'm going to go at the 48 mark, and he's just going to like turn and holler and something. That'd be cool if I just had him like pump his chest. Why not? Let's see if we can do it. So he's gonna be pumping his chest. Come on, let's try that. And then we can make this one kind of wave up or something. I kind of want him to. There we go. Yeah. All right. Let's see what this looks like. That's pretty good. He can just sort of intimidate. What if I had the arm go twice? 1 tap, 2 tap. So one thing we can do is we can grab all of these. See, he's here, tapping. So what if I took this, moved it over here, Shift-D here, and then put something in the middle. It's just basically his arm going out a little bit. So then he was pump, up, and pump. Yeah, something like that. Tap, tap. Let's hide them. Tap, tap. Great. All right, that is our second one. We're going to push down the action. Now, if we remember, we've got charge, a great axe, and a gore. So charge, great axe, and gore. Charge might be a little tough, but I think we can do it. Let's try that one next. Charge, great axe, and gore. So let's hit I. Shifty 96. Call this one 3 charge. And I'm gonna have to basically end the charge right around 72 so he can reset a little bit. So let me see how I want him to end. He's obviously gonna have to move forward. He's going to be in a hunched position, so I think this tailbone here, oh, it can't be his whole body. X to hunch that. We could take his whole body and then just adjust his legs to be more down. Maybe. So this looks pretty chargy. Kind of feel like I want him further. Let's put his snout down, his head down. He is just bracing. That actually looks pretty good as it is. Maybe this one goes up a little. And we can always mess with the tail. So I think with the charge we want the tail almost straight back, indicating that he is moving. Okay, now the challenge will be moving his feet along the way, so and maybe his arms too. There's often a wind up too, so this might be a more complex animation. Let's see what we can do. So let's start with grabbing this one, moving it about 5, because the wind up is going to be a little arch back, and his arms are going to come back slightly. And I think his head is actually going to straighten up and maybe tilt down a touch. So he's going to start to look a little bit more serious as he prepares for this. So we see his boom, and then he's gonna start to run forward. So if he's got one foot up, the feet might be challenging. But the first foot is gonna push off, so I'd say about here. We might need him up a little bit, maybe a little forward. This leg down, down, back. The other leg might have already pushed back more. Let's see. So he leaps off, and then right around, maybe if I do these every 10, it'll work out for me, but I don't know. So this one's gonna have to come back in about the same position of that one, and then this one's gonna have to move forward as he rushes forward. So 1, and then 40. This one's gonna have to be back again, maybe a little bit down. I am not great at run animations, so this might not look the best. Let's run this leg up even higher. So it's going pretty fast. 1, that needs to go down. So why don't we get that leg down so that way it doesn't look too funny. Something like that. Push, run. See, even that, I need it to be something in the middle here that has, get to the other side. So at 50, we go back again. So 40, this one needs to be on the ground. 50, we switch again. But this time he might be sort of on his toes a little more. Because he's approaching that charge position. So what's happening here? I'm losing my leg in the below the ground here. That's not where I wanted him. Okay, let's see. That might look real bad. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that looks pretty bad. Okay. So we're moving. What looks bad about it? Definitely towards the end there, so we need another step. So 50, which means that other leg needs to go forward. And if we move to 60, that leg can start to plant. That leg can start to plant until we rush into number 72. Yeah, that's too fast, those little steps there. He keeps going below the ground, which I don't like. Okay, let's get rid of whatever that middle step of 25 was. You know, what might solve the whole thing is just bringing him up a little. See that left leg, back, front, right there. It needs to go back. I think he's just hunched, so that's maybe if I put all the legs back further, it might look a little bit better. Not all of them like that, but let's see. This one doesn't need to go up that far at this stage. This one, I think, could do something like that. I almost want it to be kind of be cool if he slid into his charge right here and slid basically. Wonder what would happen if we did something like that. No, that's not what I want. Let's take all of this and move it to 70. Why is it not working? All of this. Doesn't like it. Okay, what's happening? Let me just get rid of this. So, oh no, because I had him moving. I see. So let me Control Z that, because there's some part of this that I need. Let me I this, Shift D, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And then this can grab Y and he can just slide in to that charge. Meanwhile, his arms. I think I got like one too many in there. So what if back, forward. Yeah, if I took out two of these and made these a little bit wider. 1, 2. Sort of like just a big leap in ski. I could be cool with that. So at this point, he's left with that leg, which means this leg's got to be going, or this arm's got to be going up. This one's got to be going back a bit. We move to the opposite, where this one's probably going forward slightly. This one's probably going back. And then at 60, he is just all arms back as he tries to make his body as straight as possible for the charge. Okay. A, H to hide. Let's play. So that's all well and good, but I want it to be faster. And there's this thing that happens with his arms at the end that I don't like. Yeah, let's try to get rid of that. So because his arm's like this, I'm gonna Shift D. See, this is what happens. I gotta hit I, Shift D to grab everything, and then grab Y to make him sort of slide. Actually, right here, grab Y. And his head or something can go down more. Maybe his tail moves slightly. Okay. So if we play that back, boom, boom, but I want it faster, so we're going to take everything, at least to the slide, and make that quick. I think we can probably take this part, keep it around 5. Let's see. Oops. That's quite a bit faster. Still resets, long reset, but now we're seeing charge. I still want some of the second steps. Yeah, all of this can be squished, I think. S to size. So we go prep, run, and that's it. Great. Play. So more complex, but we still get a nice charge action. I'm not going to make him step back. Not going to do it. Okay. Press down. We've got our charge. What else do we have for this guy? We've got a great axe and a gore. So, great axe should be pretty easy with this guy's bones. I grabs that one, Shift D, pulls it over, call it for great axe, and we're going to do the first 5 frames is the prep. So he's going to rotate back a little bit, maybe to the side. He's going to lift up his great axe arm. And maybe his other arm goes back a little. No, maybe I think it would go forward actually. Let me just do it in like a, yeah, sort of a beefy type of thing. Okay. So that's the prep. And then the swing is all going to happen by frame 20. So by frame 20, I want him twisted the other way. I want his top half also. Let's see, we'll do the shoulder twist. He's going to have his head down a little bit more, his mouth closed, and his whole swing. This is where the action's going to be, is in that swing. So we're going to have to just position his shoulder and arm to where that axe looks deadly. And that looks pretty good. It's all oriented to -Y, so oh yeah, that's pretty great. We're going to take a few frames for a follow through, which will be just another little torso twist and maybe a downward action. We can't hit his knee with the haft, so I'd like it to be kind of like that. Let's see. It's a little slow. Let's take all of this and we'll move it to there. Sometimes I have these things happen as early as 10. So let's go back here. Let's make this follow through a little quicker. Up, swinging through. I think his swing through at 15. That's interesting. Let's spec something up. I missed something. All of these need to be moved. Gosh, this happens all the time. Move to where everything's, whew, yes. And I think right at the point where he hits the downswing, this arm is going to be back, down a little bit, yeah. And his tail can swing to this side, because why do we have a tail if we're not animating it? Okay, let's check it out. Did we get his mouth? Oh yeah, boom. Quick, great, great axe. Now gore. I'm assuming gore is just kind of a horn gore. I don't think it describes it for me. It's just a gore attack. Looks hurtful. So I think we can just have him bend over and just do like a bull attack. So let's grab all these, hit I, Shift D, 96. Hit number 5 for gore. Are we already at 5? I guess I did 2 idles. Yep. And his 10 frames of prep will be a bending over. His tail will go up. And sure, to the side a little bit. I'm going to keep bending him over a little bit as he just is going to sort of thrust with his head. So at 15, he's going to thrust up and to the side like that. 20. He's going to go the other way, or he's going to go up. 25. He'll go to the other side and down. And 30. He'll go up. Kind of like that. Let's see what that looks like. That's kind of okay. He's just sort of goring. Let's hide these bones and see what it looks like. It's just kind of hitting his horns. Let's actually make it a little more. So we're going to take all of these horn movements and at 35, just copy and paste them so he just does it over and over. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so he still comes back the whole way, but let's change that. Alt H. Take some of these center bones that might be animated and Shift D all the way to 62, so that way he stays down. And then we got to give some of his arms movements during that. No way he's staying still with his arms. So this will go up. This will go out. We'll just go here. This will be back. This will be forward. That should be enough to give us something. Let's see what that looks like. Just so it's not all static. I don't like that left arm. Let's go back. Left arm. Let's come delete that one. So yeah, it's better. Okay. That will be gore. Now we need some reaction and death animation. So I'd like to do this all in one. So I will just do one. This time we're not going to Shift D. This is our 6th death animation. So the death will end in a death position. So we're going to take him and just rotate him in place as flat as I can. Drop him down and give him a pose that indicates he's dead. So we're just going to take these. His mouth's already open, so that's great. I like to keep his horns up if possible. Maybe his mouth is closed at some point. Maybe we make his mouth in like a weird twisted position. Yeah, something like that. His arm's gonna flail to the side. I have to use these XY axes a lot during this particular part of the process to make sure that I don't lose too much in the floor for when they die. I want my dead characters to, like the axe right there, so that way it looks like it's hitting the floor. Oh, his legs. What are we gonna do with your legs? Suppose we can just flay them out. He's got that skirt thing going on. I don't know what that looks like. Let's try. Yeah, that's okay. This one, do a similar thing. And yeah, look at this leg. It's something we can do here is just rotate on the Y to get that splayed look. And then let's run his tail to the other side, making sure it comes up a little bit. Something like that. Hide the bones, that's our dead. Oh, look at that, his skirt popped up. That's not good. What are we gonna do about that? Well, if I take his whole body and rotate by 180 so he dies flat, might have to change some things, but that might be preferred. Otherwise his skirt sort of does some weird stuff. So actually let me pop into the other side, check out these shoulder bones. Pop this back up. That looks good there. Where's his shoulder bones? I think his legs are actually pretty good. Might have to, yeah, just rotate these slightly. And then his tail, we'll just have flopping down. That'll be great. Just gonna have to pop up a little more. Something like that. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's great. Alrighty. Oh, I realize my face covers up a lot of the animation index. Sorry. Okay. So Alt H, we have our death. And if we go back, oh, he does a full flip. Look at that. That's not great. Ugh. It's annoying. How do I fix that? So he does a full 180. Can I rotate X by the other way? 360. Does that help at all? Nope. He's doing a backflip. I gotta do. don't know what that's about, but I think it has something to do with that. Nope. Alright. Instead of trying to figure that out, because I have had that problem before, we're going to try again this time. I'm just going to flip everything like this. Pop him down. Face outstretched. Legs out flat. Give or take. Let's just check. Okay, that's better. Now we can pose him. I really like the jaw. That was, yeah, like that. Like he just got jacked up. Okay, this needs to be down, and this needs to be twisted more or less, because this can be there we go. Checking out this side. Might as well make that out. That's fine, I think. I just want his tail to come towards this side. And hugs his body a bit. Great. Now, oh, see, sometimes I get things at 95 instead of 96. Just highlight G to grab, move over. Okay. Now, how do we get from here to dead? So, I need this one to be at 48. Which means nothing changes except he's going to have a reaction. This will be his hit reaction. So basically it's just going to be him rising up, his arms going up like this. This arm doing something similar. His head screaming out, and of course, why not move the tail? So this will be his hit reaction. He's going to go ah, and then he's going to come back down. But then when he dies, he'll go ah, and then he'll sort of fall down here. But we can help this midway through by just grabbing his legs like this, so that way it's going to go through, it's fine. Then he drops. Now why is his head so far up? That's interesting. I thought I told you your head was down. Okay, let's make sure the blade doesn't hit below. All right. Okay. Let's check that whole thing out. Falls down dead. Sure, it's not perfect. We're going to push that down, and we're going to keep him here and hit I, Shift D, all the way over to 0, and just call this 7 dead. And push that down. Okay, get out of this. Let's check our Blender file real quick. We've got static, idle, charge, great X, score, death, and dead. We are going to take him, hit A to select all, export into GLBF. We're going to go into my animations, creatures. He is a Minotaur M. It is a MZ 4250 model, so MZ 4250 Minotaur animated, and that'll be a WebP. Got selected objects. It's going to be NLA tracks, and I'm going to export. We will see. Let's pop this in. To this, I like to just use a folder that I often delete stuff from, but we'll go into creatures, M for Minotaur, find our Minotaur, let it load up, select the file, and we should notice nothing because this animation index is 0. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do 1. He does idle animation number 1. We do 2. He does idle animation number 2. We do 3. He does his charge attack, stepping off of his platform. How dare you? 4. Slices with his great axe. 5. Does the horn thing. 6. He falls and dies. And 7. He stays dead. Okay. Now, to set this up properly, I go into my tokens here. I have an advanced. I'm going to remove base. I like to remove base. I like to stick with an idle animation to start. We're going to go into basic. I'm going to go into my 3D-Animations, find my M, and load up that same one. Creatures, M, Minotaur, bada boom, bada bing. Now I also have these macros. If I open my owlbear, that might be the easiest. It's often one I use. And the owlbear has a few things. So if I take his claws and find this dime from MIDI QOL, and if I go into, gosh, did we do charge first? So dime, pop that in, animation index 3. Before we get rid of the owlbear, I'm going to move this death one over, which we'll get to. Animation index 3, is that my charge? 3 is charge, perfect. So it's going to go to 3, it's going to wait 4 seconds, that's the 96 frames, and then reset to 1. Perfect. Charge is done. We're going to take the charge. It's a strength save, so under MIDI QOL, when we add this active effect, it's going to be after targeting completes because it's a save. But we're going to take that same concept. Great axe was number 4, so we're going to go to great axe, go into dime, change it to 4, wait for 4 seconds, return to 1. Fantastic. MIDI, add this time after attack roll because it's an attack roll. And then gore is number 5. Great. So we'll go into gore. Do the same thing. Change this to 5. 5. Wait 4 seconds, return to 1. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to check this death animation. 6 and 7 is what I want. So this one, I got a growl sound coming in. if there's new HP, if he doesn't have HP 0, we're just going to go to 6 for 2 seconds and then back to 1. Otherwise, we're going to go to 6 for 4 seconds and stay on 7. And we'll see what this all looks like, friends. I'm going to get rid of that Minotaur because I edited this one. We see it popped him out. He doesn't have the base. He's automatically in his. One thing I don't like is the resources. So we're just going to do hovered by owner because I'm just not a fan of those types of resources showing except when I hover. Let's bring out 2 of these guys so we can show what they might look like. So if you target him here and you use a charge, oh, I didn't have, see if I have him selected and then hit target, then we get this charge attack, which can look pretty sweet. Boom. We can also see Great Axe. Oh, this one just got hit, so he's going to do his reaction. That's that Great Axe attack. There's the dice roll. For damage, this one's going to react. See, it doesn't reset the animation, which isn't great. Let's check out Gore. I don't think that one's going to hit. Let's try again. There's an at 20. You know, this one is not working because I don't think we set up Gore properly. So let's check this out from here. We didn't do the MIDI QOL bit. After attack roll. There we go. So bringing this guy out, targeting. I have to have him selected, then he rotates towards, and then I'm going to use Gore. There we go. He just sort of gores it up. And let's bring this guy down to like 1 hit point so we can see what the death looks like. I don't think 8's going to hit. Let's try charge again. Boom. Reacts, falls, and then he's dead. So that is the whole workflow. I'm going to go ahead and pop my new Minotaur into my Creatures Compendium, and that will be in the next update. This is my first how-to for this kind of stuff, so if you like it, say so. Put something in the comments. Ask me if there's a MZ model you want animated. If you're a Patreon member, I'm happy to listen to folks, and we'll get it done. Until then, happy campaigning.